Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
This world is changing more and more every day, and we've decided to change right along with it. My name is Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the president of Trajectory TV Network. At Trajectory, our vision is to provide a comfortable, creative platform for top content creators and storytellers from around the globe. We're also dedicated to providing this world with content that is healing, educational, empowering, exciting, and above all else, entertaining and transparent. So right now, I invite all of you who believe yourselves to be global game changers to use the link found here and simply take a chance. Schedule a virtual chat where you'll have the opportunity to share your vision for your very own global television show with me, the network president. So use that link, and together, let's begin changing and healing this world, one story at a time. And remember, whether you have years of experience in front of the camera or zero experience, it doesn't matter. What matters the most is your desire to share great content through television and a willingness to share it with passion and with purpose. You might ask, how do I know if I've fallen in love with my purpose and my purpose has fallen in love with me? It's easy when you've lost your voice because you just can't stop talking about it. I'll see you soon. Wake up! I should be telling myself that. Type it in the comments. Wake your ass up, Lauren. Good morning. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. How you doing? It's Giving Tuesday. we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Get our guest in here. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. It's blistery cold here in Chicago and living up to the name of the Windy City, literally today. I was out last night, way past my bedtime, not out, but out in the front yard, hanging giant ornaments. And, pay close attention to all the details when you order things, because if I'd have known that the pump that came with them was only this big, it was like a whistle. Thank God I found the one from our air mattresses from when the kids come, and I was able to get them. And then I was out there in the wind on a ladder hanging them, but it was worth it because I saw the kids this morning on their way to the bus and they approved. So that's good. Hey, that's the bell of purpose. It's not just a gimmick. It's not just a show prop. I prefer to think of it more or less, but more as an opportunity. Why do I ring that bell? It is the bell of purpose. Look, it even says so. And I ring it on purpose because just like that bell, the truth has a ring to it. And our guest here, you guys out there with your comments and everything, even once in a while, me, the truth is out there. And I know we're busy gathering our content in all kinds of ways, doing a million and one things at the same time. But we never want to get so busy that we miss some truth. Can I get an amen? Put it in the comments. I appreciate you. So, couple announcements before our guest comes in. Don't forget tomorrow, wherever you get your podcast feeds, iHeart, Spotify, all those places, a new episode of License for Love, the heartbeat in relationship conversation with my good friend, Nashville singer, Cowboy Jax Young. It drops tomorrow. Great episode. Also, congratulations to my good buddies. Thank you for your service. All these guys are military vets like myself, and their brand, which I am an ambassador for, Triple Nickel, is now in Kohl's. So get over and support this holiday season and beyond. Also, the book is out. Went out November 9th. Thank all of you for all of your support. We went international and stateside bestsellers in 9 categories. So you guys are awesome. One more thing, you know what's coming up. May, we are headed to Romania. We're going on tour, the Legacy of Hope tour. If any of you would like to join us, just reach out and ask me for the details. We'd love to have you go with us. It's a 14-day mission of hope, and we hope you will want to join us. Last but not least, yesterday I woke up to this, and I'm just so grateful. God is good. I will be traveling Friday, Las Vegas. The big man the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, and there goes Comcast showing their ass this morning. Listen, my guest Andrea Marcellus is backstage. Andrea, if Comcast kicks me out, you keep going. You guys remind her, and they will, because I don't know what they're on. They blame it on the wind. They at least could have named it after a song and blamed it on the rain. Get it? Remember that? I know you're too young. Listen to this, and then I'm gonna get my guest in here. This really happened last weekend. We were in Michigan for Thanksgiving, and I was talking to some kid. I don't even remember. And I said, we were talking about favorite Christmas songs. And I said, well, I really love Whitney Houston's version of, and they're like, who? What in the world? There are kids who don't know who Whitney Houston was. Getting old is not fun, but it can be managed. And that's a great lead in for today's guest, you guys. All of us now, and I didn't bring her here just because it's Christmas and New Year's and everybody says, oh, I'm going to lose 10 pounds and this and the other. No, I would have brought her here any of the days of the year, because good health and staying healthy and learning how to feel your best, not just look your best, is something we need to take a look at every day. Listen, life is not about how you start the race. It's not about how you run the race. It's going to end up being about that quality of life as you finish the race. And we all want quality of life, right? Can I get an amen? Put it in the comments. So I'm going to get our guest in here. Her name, as I mentioned earlier, is Andrea Marcellus. Before I get her in here, told you I was sleepy. Diva, help me welcome to the show my sidekick. She's been here all 6 years, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. Girl. Pushy much? She's lucky she's got a contract. Anyway, who is this woman? First of all, she's an early riser because she's in Los Angeles, which means it is 6 a.m. there. So Andrea Marcellus, she's the founder and the CEO of And/Life. Okay. This is a Los Angeles based company. She's been a life strategist for over 30 years. And what is this company? It is a life maximization brand with a mission to help busy people. That's us. Busy people prioritize their physical and mental well-being. You don't see the mental part connected to a lot of these physical components or businesses. So I'm intrigued right there. So let me see. Let me find my place. Oh, she wants us to be able to manage this with minimal effort and sacrifice. Big word, that sacrifice. Offering uniquely engaging solutions to both individual consumers and large-scale organizations, both. So, and life, which is trademarked, so I don't think you can steal it. She's smart. Okay. Is scaling Andrea's personalized proven wellness methods via its proven Shape Up body and mind program, live and online events, the And Life Total Fitness Lifestyle app. She has an app. I want to talk about that. And Connect Workday Wellbeing Video Library. Andrea is also the author of the top-rated book, The Way In. W-A-Y. Clever with your words, Miss Girl. 5 winning strategies to lose weight, get strong, and lift your life. Who wants some of this today? I know I do. Raise your hands. Listen, we're going to roll out the red carpet. Applaud by putting hearts on the screen, because guess what? Here she comes, Andrea Marcellus. Wait a minute.
That was a great intro.
Okay, because I saw I was muted that whole time.
No.
Okay, thank
I
God.
heard you.
Mute was on just now. And I was like, I've done that. Done a whole monologue. And there was like, I looked up and I said, boy, they're chatty today. There's like 60 comments already. And all of them were like, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
So, let me see that. Is that right?
Today, I'm glad you're here. You look great for the crack of dawn.
Thank you.
And you look glowing, literally. So here's what we do. I'd like to give our guest a moment, like a minute of personal time. I'm going to dip out. You just, anything I didn't mention, you can just say hello, tell people what you're feeling today, and then we'll come back and we'll get started. Is that okay?
Oh, sounds great.
Okay, all you.
Okay, well, hello, everybody. I'm really glad to be here, and especially on Giving Tuesday, because there's nothing I love to give more than practical well-being strategies to help people feel their best so they can do their best. And I am a fitness expert, and then just it like sort of transitioned into what I call life strategist for people, because quite frankly, this doesn't ever get in gear until this gets in gear. They work together, the body and the mind work together. So we really need to deal with your mental well-being and your stress level and your strategies to handle all that, at the same time that we deal with, what food you're eating, or, your workout.
All the regular things.
Yeah.
I love this. I am excited about this because, I'm a wellness lover. I am. But I didn't wake up to the reality of the need until I was right around 50. I woke up in the middle of that colonoscopy, and it was, I woke up for just like a couple seconds, but I could see inside my body on the screen, and it was a world in and of itself. And you just don't get that, unless, like do surgeries or something. I had never seen. And it was, all the pink and I was like, I want to keep it that way. Right. I don't want it to be weighted down with a bunch of shit that doesn't serve me. And I decided to transform my life. And thank God it's been a great 10 years. I'm 60 now, and it's never too late to start. So we're going to talk about that before we get into everything and life and all the rest. I wanted to show a quick 1-minute clip about Giving Tuesday, because a lot of people don't even know what it is. I really didn't. because I always thought, they're always coming up with something, anything to get more money. But um, let's
Right.
talk about it for just a second. You guys take a look at this.
November is a time for giving thanks. For many people, that happens on Thanksgiving, when they sit down for some turkey and a slice of pie, or two, and express
Or four.
gratitude for friends, family, and health. But for kids at Shriners Hospitals for Children, our Day of Thanks happens the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. It's called Giving Tuesday, the day when people all around the world donate to the causes and organizations that mean the most to them. When someone donates to Shriners Hospitals for Children on Giving Tuesday, that money makes it possible for patients to live happier, healthier, and more active lives. So, when you donate to Shriners Hospitals, you aren't just giving money. You're giving a child the freedom of exploration, the excitement of a home run, and endless new ways to express their creativity. Things lots of people take for granted, but that we are forever grateful for. So grateful, in fact, we don't know quite how to express it. With a high five, a hug, or maybe just a heartfelt thank you. This November, we hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving, one that leaves you with a full belly and a full heart. And this Giving Tuesday, we hope you'll consider making the lives of Shriners Hospital's patients a little more full too. Donate today at lovetotherescue.org.
And I actually chose Shriners and St. Jude's as my Giving Tuesday recipients this year and also last year. And I just want to put this out there for those of you who aren't aware of it. Amazon Smile. If you're doing a lot of shopping through Amazon, this is not just for the holiday season, it's all year long. You can go in and add Amazon Smile to your account instead of just Amazon.com, and a portion of all of your purchases all year long will go to your charity of choice. And I have Shriners attached to my Amazon account. So there you go. An easy way to give, and you don't even feel it. It's easy and painless. So how do you feel? Do you have a cause or anything, Andrea? A nonprofit oops, I didn't mean to do that. I want to do that. Sorry. Or anything that, what's your passion? Who do you support?
It's so funny. My Amazon Smile is attached to St. Jude as well. And right now, it's funny. Recently, I've become very interested in supporting the Alzheimer's Foundation, and my father's struggling with that, and
Currently.
there are millions and millions and millions of people in his position, and then as a family member in my position, and we're just in, there just needs to be more research and more time spent on mental health and the well-being of the brain. And the alarming thing I discovered was that really um, it has a lot to do with your stress level and your lifestyle in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, if your predisposition to Alzheimer's, if it's going to present itself and what's going to happen for you. And, so that's become something that
Can we talk
I've
about
put a
that for a
focus on.
second?
Sure,
Are
of
you
course.
comfortable talking about that for a
Of
second?
course. Yeah.
Because you're close to it and we don't get to talk about it enough. So
Yeah.
first, you said 30s, 40s, and 50s. So let's take your father, for example. Would you have ever seen this coming? And when it did show up, were there any warning signs? How did it walk in?
Oh, no, you would never see it coming. And I
Mm.
want to say now we understand what was going on. But the first thing that happened now, growing up, I had a tough situation in my home. And my mom was a high functioning alcoholic. She was very successful, but she was also very destructive. It was really, really, really stressful environment. And, when you think about that, and my dad trying to hold it all together for a long time, I just look back and I go, oh my goodness. And
Oh,
then
right.
my dad and I were very, very close. And, you know, about, I don't know, maybe it's 12 years ago at this point or
Mhm.
something, not even, maybe 9 years ago. Um, he started to become very hard on me and very angry with me. And I don't have an angry family, and I don't have that kind of a relationship. My family's extremely polite. Like,
Okay.
and so,
Wow. I didn't know
like,
that existed. Okay.
right. No, I mean, seriously, and he, conversations would get heated, and he actually got very, very upset with me a few times, like randomly, and out of nowhere, and then he'd feel terrible about it. But it was incredible because I'd never seen it. And what Alzheimer's does is it will trigger parts of your brain that are not you, not part of your personality. We couldn't figure out what was
Right.
going on, and he and I are so close, and you imagine, like, it was devastating for me, absolutely devastating. And then as the years went on and we started to see his short-term memory was being affected and stuff, and then there were doctor visits and tests and this that, and then we started to understand what was really happening with him. um as I started to look into it more, anger and personality shifts are kind of a precursor to it that can happen a decade before the memory issues really start to present themselves. And so it was a very, very tough time for me. Now I'm understanding, and now it doesn't actually happen as often. Um, and but that's you just have to be enormously patient and forgiving. And it's just tough though, because that person seems exactly like themselves, talking to you as plain as day, but you have to know that is a brain misfire.
Is it, have you experienced that piece where they always show this in the movies and reenactments and stuff where a person with Alzheimer's will know a person one day because there's clarity, and then the next day they don't know them at all. And I can imagine what that's like to see your own parent or loved one looking back at you with "who in the world are you" look on their face. Have you experienced that, or is it not that bad yet?
Thank goodness, no. And
Oh,
when I want to make my dad like a sign to put in his house that just says, and I reminding him of this every time we talked yesterday, I think. And every time I remind him of this, and I tell him, when I talk to him, he has everything available to him. If I need advice, if I need to know something, my dad's a PhD, he's an environmental scientist, he's brilliant, he's just extraordinary person. And I just always try to remind him that when I'm in he can hang in a conversation. He might repeat himself once or twice, but he
yeah,
has everything available to him. So I just try to remind him that I want to make a sign for his house that he passes every day, just so he knows, like, you are as vital and essential and contributory and meaningful, like your life is, as it ever was. It's You can't remember it, but you are an impactful person, and what you say matters, and when we talk, it matters. And
sorry.
I hope that's comforting for him, at least in those moments.
Right.
And
Oh,
it's bizarre.
here's a good segue because you know you have your own life, your own needs, and now you have this extra plate, or it's place setting, because as we
Hmm.
get older, a lot of people take on the care of parents. The position switch, and even more the reason to have taken good care of yourself. If you're going to be tasked with taking care of one, maybe two parents later, even splitting it with other siblings is not easy. My husband is starting to experience that with his parents. Um,
Hmm.
because you think one is going to be there for the other one, and then all of a sudden, the one you thought was the weaker one, now something happened, and now the father is the one that, and you go, well, what happens to him? What happens if he's not there for her? Uh-oh, that's us. So let's
Yeah.
talk about the stress and the things, all the things that happen as we get older, why it's important to put a plan in place. And that's what I love about your work. It's based around a plan, and it's a complete circle. It's not just half of it, the physical, it also involves the mental. So, talk about how you got started in this and what makes you an authority on it.
I don't know that I'm an authority on, what I'm doing. Like I'm in a fortunate situation right now. My dad had remarried and his wife is 13 years younger than him. And she has a ton of energy and she's just a fabulous, fabulous woman. And she cares for him like day in and day out. Like he's, living at their house and they are still traveling as they can. Like
Good.
she is determined for him to have the best life he possibly can as long as he can hang in it. So it's amazing. But if anything happens to her, that is a conversation that's happened with my family, that me and my brother who lives in Philadelphia, I'm in Los Angeles, they're in New York, like we're going to have to figure some stuff out. But right
Yeah.
now we're doing okay. But to your point about caretaking, and I've reached out over the years to many, many caretaking organizations to say, hey, how can I help you? Because that's one of the biggest things that caretakers, and this is everybody actually,
Hmm.
so many of us, this is parents, professionals, we live our lives in service to things on our to-do list that have to do with other people. We always get to those items first in a day, and then we have items for ourselves that are just become nice to haves. They're
Right.
not our real priorities. And unfortunately, it's kind of become a thing where there's a selfishness theoretically to putting yourself for, like, there's a lot of lip service to it, but there's still kind of this idea of, well, you need to, there's some honor in this sacrifice of putting everybody ahead of you. And we really, really need to understand, no, you have got to prioritize yourself. Your life is happening right now. You're not going to get to the end of your life and, be thrilled if all you did were the to-dos and managing the needs and responsibilities and obligations that had to do with other people. We have to consider ourselves a responsibility as well, a privilege that we really need to make little bits of time for at least every day. And that's why I try very hard to make really practical well-being strategies. I mean, tiny things that can fit into a busy schedule, just knowing how people are, knowing how we all operate with our to-do lists,
Yeah.
prioritizing other people first. So we create little strategies that help you physically and mentally and literally fit into the life you actually live personally, rather than trying to just layer on a bunch of you should do this and you should do that on an already busy schedule.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to go to the mental side first, if we could, because
Great.
I actually had a conversation just last night because I had to call her and share that presidential thing with her. And her name is Allie Valentine. She was my fourth mother out of the 22. And she was friends with my adopted mother and went to our church. She's 96 years old today. Not today, but now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I called her and she was like, "Oh, I just walked in the door." She lives in College Park, Tennessee, and she had just driven in one day to Huntsville, Alabama and back.
Goodness gracious.
And I was like,
Wow.
"Wait a minute, you were a passenger?" She goes, "No, I drove." I said, "Who went with you?" "No one." And we started talking about that. She goes, "Listen, I have a lot of friends." She goes, "Actually, last year I went to 4 funerals, and 3 of them were over 100 years old. One of them was her professor who she studied under when she said in the 40s. He was 110 years old."
Right.
And so I was like, and I remember in her home, they were health conscious. The snacks were all healthy. They were vegetarians, all this stuff. And I just look at her and I go, what an inspiration. So let's talk about that mindset, because
Right.
just a few months ago when we lost Betty White, and you guys hear me say all the time, I'm trying to be the black male Betty White. It's who I want to be, which means I want quality of life to the last second if I can have it.
Right.
Now, that's not something you stumble upon. That is a part of a plan. It is. Let's talk about the mental part. How do you, what do you tell people, or what do you offer people to get them to start thinking about anything beyond today, or that wedding that they want to fit into that dress coming up in the spring, or what have you? Long-term goals that are actionable, that we can be actionable within today. So I'm hoping some of those little micro pieces you were saying can kind of fall into place here. What do you say about that?
Yeah, so it's a really interesting thing. People, when we talk in the long term, or we talk about what's going to, what is life going to be like when you're older, whatever. If somebody hasn't actually personally experienced a limitation yet, then it's very hard for them to grasp, and
That's
it's
right.
not going to be empowering to them. So actually, a short micro goals work much better. They're much more incentivizing. But when you talk about mindset, here's the thing. We want to start being able to master our own mind because of stress and because of mental overload. So this is what I teach people. Our brains were literally not designed to process the sheer amount of information that is, sent our way every single day through the media, through whatever. We literally process too much information. Much of that information is designed to trigger the amygdala in our brain. That's the fear and anxiety center, because that makes you worried, and you keep going back for more information so you can make decisions to protect yourself, right? Like, so, we want to know more. We want to know more. Well, that's how the media is designed. That's how the news is designed. Okay. So let's talk about what happens when your amygdala is set off. The fear and anxiety center of your brain will send out two hormones. It's sending out adrenaline, and it's sending out cortisol. Now, in, let's say cave people times, okay,
Yeah.
your amygdala is only set off by one of two things. It's either scarcity
Yeah.
or threat.
Or threat.
So scarcity used to be, hey, there's not enough berries on the bushes here. The tribe is going to starve. Like, we have to move, right? And threat used to be, hey, that's a lion running after me. I better run.
Oh, right.
Right?
That's
It's
right.
physical
Fight or
threat.
flight. Right.
Okay. So in this day and age, scarcity is, I'm not going to have enough time, I'm not going to have enough energy, or I'm not going to have enough money. Those are the things that stress us out. And threat isn't physical threat usually. We're not usually running from a burning building. It's a threat to our ego. It's emotional. I'm made to look like a fool. I'm going to look foolish. I don't know enough. I'm afraid to look, usually it's shame driven, right? So either way, the response is the same. Your body's sending out adrenaline and cortisol. The cortisol shuts down pretty much everything in the center of your body that has nothing essential to do with either moving the tribe, walking for a long distance, or running from the lion, right?
Right.
Only the protective functions, like that energy we need to get from here to there. And then the adrenaline in your brain does two things. It guides us to make short-term decisions to soothe the discomfort. We're terrible at being uncomfortable. So we make decisions very quickly and snappily that will soothe our discomfort, will take us out of pain or fear, but those often go against long-term goals. So food soothing. I mean, sitting in front of Netflix for hours. It's numbing behaviors rather than participating in our own life, which
Right.
can become too painful. So the key is to get, in terms of mindset, get comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable, and to develop some practices that everybody's focused on calm, calm, calm. No, stop focusing on calm. Let's focus on resilience. Let's focus on growing the parts of our brain that can help us in uncomfortable times without soothing, but with strength.
I love it. And I want to ask you if you feel this has any bearing. Prior to 50, honestly, I'll never forget the day it happened. I accidentally saw myself without a shirt on in the mirror because for 30 years, I had not used mirrors. I shaved, brushed my teeth. I did everything in the shower. I didn't have any social media profile pics, nothing, just the little silhouette. No pictures of me anywhere unless they was doing this, because I did not like looking at myself. Now, back then, I thought it was just the physical, the cosmetic, okay, I don't like the way I look. But once I started focusing on, I didn't like the way I felt, because it was like my body could not speak to me about warning signs because it was like I had one bar, okay, like on your phone. It couldn't get through because there was all that gook and sludge and just everything, tension and, not enough for all of it. And then once I crossed over that meridian of, making a change, making a decision and sticking to it, I had it. I put a plan in place, and instantly within 30 days, 2 bars, then 3 bars. And then all of a sudden I started hearing the warning signs, feeling the warning signs. Well, let me check on this and let me check on that. Let's talk about what is it in us that makes us feel like, because come on, I'm 60. I know I have friends that graduated high school in 1980 with me,
Right.
honestly, that look like they're 80. But then I know people that are in their 90s, 96, like Mrs. Valentine, with outside of her white hair, not a wrinkle. She's walking a mile a day. And you look at them, she looks 60 and 60 looks 90. Is this choice? Is it genetics?
It is. No.
Well, a lot of people think,
It's purpose. So it's what you said, which was you had a plan. What's a plan? Plan is doing, right? So it's purpose and action and putting those things together. So people, come to me and they think they want to lose weight or get fit or something like that. And they say, I'm just not motivated. And it's like, it's not that you're not motivated. It's that you don't have a clear purpose. You don't know your why.
You need a
And
reason.
the key to what you said, though, is that you put a plan in place. It doesn't matter what the plan is, literally just working the plan. And this is where we're getting out of our feelings, which are not real. Our feelings are just perspective that come and go like clouds. By doing, always by taking action, that's how we shift. And what we're looking to do is keep what I call your positive brain centers engaged and active all the time and grow those and let this amygdala, this fear and anxiety center, shrink a bit, right? And then you develop a default mindset, like your go-to mindset is one of positive possibility and curiosity. If your life is driven by purpose, and your purpose can change, but you always have something that you're passionate about, you're fascinated by, whatever, right?
Right.
That keeps you in a space where you're curious and you're hopeful. And a mindset that is in those places is going to be far less stressed. And just on just in terms of your hormones, you'll be in a hormonal advantage. You will not be deteriorating on a cellular level, which is what happens when the body's stress response is chronically triggered. So the key is having a plan, any plan that fills your soul, and that will keep your body on the right track. Now, can we optimize that plan? Yes, absolutely. Can we make good choices? Yes, but this is that connection, because stress and our mindset will always be the final deciding factor in whether or not we show up for ourselves any given day. We can have all the best laid plans in the world, but if we are someone who does not have resilience against stress, or if we are someone that has not developed habits, little small habits that make sure we care for ourselves, when the pressure comes on in the day, then all of our best intentions for ourselves will go by the wayside. So that's why it's really important. It's a mindset, and then small, doable, easily repeatable strategies to boost your well-being that will then turn into habits. And between those two things, purpose and little small habits, we will at the same time level up your body and your mind. Ding.
Right on. Listen, we're gonna take a brief, and I promise, brief break. But when we come back, I wanted to get into some of these micro goals so that hopefully people can put them in place. I want us to go into And Life. Where'd you get the name? What does it mean? And then also, and you guys tell me what you feel about this. Why is it we'll take a $1.99 thing off the shelf in the store to fix something stressful in our life, like a fidget or a stress ball, but we won't make changes that can really serve us? What is that all about? Is it because we're lazy? That and more. When we return, don't go away. We will be right back. Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris. And before I get our guests back in, Andrea Marcellus, I wanted to welcome a new sponsor, Jack Black. Sent me a bunch of stuff to try and to tell you about. And I decided to start, because it's cold here in Chicago, their Intense Therapy Lip Balm. I started 2 days ago, and clearly now my lips are dressed up with no place to go. What shape are yours in? If you want to learn more, go to jackblack.com and look at an array of wonderful products. More as the weeks continue. I got a bunch of stuff to try. Okay, we're back. So, listen, the name. I was looking at it because I'm big on names. All my brands, I think I have really great names, right? But I was like, I would have never thought of that one. And Life. Tell us about how you came to this place and what this name means.
Well, and comes from Andrea, and then it's life,
Oh,
like your life, right? But the and part of it is it's really about expansion, right? And means there's more,
there's more.
right? So the idea is that, when we created this company, and life is the well-being side of the business, but there's, I could expand to and all sorts of things.
That's right.
and it's really about creating, again, that life that is maximized because we're in a mindset of plenty and safety, that life is abundant, and that I am safe and well, and I am free and strong and capable to be able to make the most of it.
So let me tell you why I think what you do is so important for so many people, and it breaks my heart that you almost have to drag them to it. It's this. I find that when I make just little changes, like I go to a gym every morning. You guys know this. I take a picture there every morning, except today because I didn't go. But I go on Tuesdays and Thursdays to a separate gym with a trainer that pushes me from my regular routine. I go in, I sit at the same machines, I do the same things, and I maintain, but I don't really change. So
Right.
habit and routine still need to be challenged, especially with our bodies, because of muscle memory, this, that, and the other. So let's talk about, why is it, Andrea, that so many people are afraid to get started? They think they're going to lie to themselves again. What can they find inside your company that can maybe just say, come on, grab my arm. I got you. Let's go.
It's because what's messaged out to us is that health and fitness and well-being require tremendous sacrifice, or require tremendous amount of time, or it's uncomfortable, it's painful. And when we're already chronically stressed, those are hard choices to say, yes, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to pay a lot of money for it.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
so
you got a point.
Yeah. So, but those strategies actually don't even work, as probably all of your viewers and listeners realize how many people yo-yo, because what they're asking you to do is try on the life of somebody else and, lose weight that way. And then somehow you have to magically maintain it. That's ridiculous.
Right.
You must lose weight and get stronger within the lifestyle you actually personally live. Just making tweaks and optimizations to things you already do, to time you actually have. And when you make small adjustments, they will expand into bigger preferences. But if things aren't your honest preference,
That's right.
right, then you will not choose it, because it's not bringing you joy, or it's not comforting to you. Again, we go back to comforting.
And it's not authentic.
So it is not authentic. And so
it-
that's what's really crucial. So all these people, what's hard is they've tried so many things and they've failed. Well, or they think they failed. The fact is they didn't fail. The plan failed them because it didn't fit their life.
There you
But
go.
again, we're
like when
triggering
people-
shame.
It's like when people buy an outfit right off the mannequin because it looks good on the mannequin, and then it looks so weird. It doesn't feel authentic on them, to us who know them.
Right.
Because it's off the rack. It's someone else's. And I that's so important because like now at 60, I know I'm not trying to look like the 30-year-olds or the
Right.
20-year-olds at the gym, but I'm also not willing to have a pot gut that's way out here, soft or firm. I know that I don't want to get beyond a 32-inch waist ever again. And I know,
Right.
so like for instance, with this trainer, when I'm doing things that I never do on my own, you know, squats and deadlifts and things like that. But when I'm doing it, and he's explained to me the muscles that I'm building around my bones to protect them. Because when people fall and break hips and stuff, a lot of people think they fall and break the hip, but the truth is, most of them, the hip breaks and then they fall because of osteoporosis and things like this. So I picture
Yeah.
in my mind, you think if you don't want to keep going, then look at that picture in your mind on the screen of you with a walker. Then all of a sudden, I see myself throwing the walker and I get all the way through the reps. How
That's right.
important is it that we create the image of the goal? Because I believe in setting goals and forgetting them and coming back and focusing all my energies on the process that drives me directly into that goal. How important is that? And what can people find when they come to you that can help them flip that power switch so that they can get
Yeah.
going in the right way?
It's funny when people start with my Shape Up Body Mind program, which is, coaching for 90 days and then there's a continuation, but it gets you going. They start a kickoff session and they think, okay, we're going to start. What do you eat? What do you, whatever? We spend 45 minutes lately on like, who are you?
Right, right.
Who are you? We create a lane in life, and this is where you operate the best, somewhere between who you are and who you're not. We figure out who that is and we create a goal. What is your purpose right now? And so when you talk about having an image or having it, and we make it as tangible and visual as possible. I'm big on that because if you can see it, you can manifest it. It's like, and it's really, really important. And here's the thing. You
Shoot.
never have to achieve that goal. It doesn't matter. It's to get you on a path. Life is not about, as we know, any of the goals we want to. Life is about being on paths that excite us so
Yeah.
that we're in a mindset to see opportunity and doors opening and all sorts of cool stuff that happens because we're on a journey that means something to us. But it's really interesting. For a second there, I saw in a comment somebody was saying, well, you can't just shift your mindset, when you're in the middle of being triggered, because your mind is what's failing you, and I
Yeah.
need my body to do that. And it was such a great point. I just wanted to go back
Go
to
ahead. Yeah.
the mind and body work together, right? So this is what I'm talking about, this path that gets you on the path. This is what we do. Like literally, there are physical things you can do that mimic stress. Like, so in your workout, when you hold a plank, right? You
Yeah.
think your plank is just about abdominal strength, about some shoulder strength, about some quadricep strength, about, a cardiovascular moment in a
Or
way,
all of
like
it.
we're a
Right.
high intensity interval of the sort, right? You're thinking that. Well, let me tell you what's happening in your brain. Stress is stress. Your brain can't tell the difference between that physical stress and stress from your schedule or stress. So you can use those planks if you do not allow yourself to respond to it, to respond to this discomfort, to you just keep your face neutral. If you just breathe, if you just focus, like you said, on your purpose and the reason and telling your body, look, I've got this. I know I'm uncomfortable. I know that I have 30 seconds to go here and it doesn't feel good, but guess what? I'm all right. You are training your brain to stop over responding to stress in general.
Right.
And that will help you. So I literally, if to the person that said, but how do I shift right in that moment? If you put yourself literally in a physically challenging position, and the one I'll show you for the video people, a chair pose from yoga, a modified chair pose from yoga. So you kind of stand up and you sit as if you're going to sit back in a chair, and you take your arms up right next to your head and they're kind of by your ears. So you feel every muscle in the back of your body, in your back, in your glutes, in your legs working, and you hold yourself here. Very challenging position that gets every muscle in the body activated. If you just breathe and try to stay there a minute, what it takes to accomplish that literally shuts off the amygdala, that fear and anxiety center, for a precious moment while your body's accomplishing that activity. And that can help be like a safety release valve that, one, helps to move you out of that moment where you're being triggered, but two, it can help to train your brain to be less triggered to begin with. And things like this that are done as a habit, that's just one of the small strategies that doesn't look like, when we think of brain training or we think of mental well-being, we think of therapy or talking. I find doing to be so much more effective than
It
talking.
is. It is.
And that's one of the ways. And just understanding the neurology and the physiology of that, that's what we look for. Easy things like that. I've made a gazillion of these for people that can fit into your day, that can honestly help you in moments when stuff like that is going on. And if you have a bunch of those things in place in your life, you will never be derailed.
Absolutely right. I want to say this to you guys because I'm living it. When I started changing my mindset 10 years ago, I didn't have a gym membership. I did not join a gym immediately. I went and paid daily at a hotel and used theirs for $1 a day because it didn't have any mirrors in there, and there was never anyone in there. I had to cover up the treadmill, the numbers and stuff, because everything was telling me you can't do it, you can't do it. But I said, okay, when I start sweating, that is everything that is not serving me leaving. I had to figure out something that worked for me. And Andrea is absolutely right about decide what it is that is important to you. Find the things, take your grandkids' picture and put it in front of you. If you cannot do it for yourself, find something that is a passion. What lives right on the other side of that last life-giving breath you've drawn? Put that face on your goal. If you have to, by any means necessary, you will be grateful one day. Do not paint yourself into a corner that you cannot walk out of when you need to. Andrea, tell them, hold up your book for me. We've got about 3 minutes.
Okay.
Tell them about the book, and we're going to show some links while you're telling them. And then we hope you guys get over and continue this dialogue with our guests. Go ahead.
So this is my book, The Way In. This is actually the food side of things. And what's really important is to understand that if you lose weight and you're somebody who likes bread and likes pizza and likes wine or whatever, and you lose weight without those things, you will not keep that weight off. It is not about giving up everything that brings you passion in life. And food bonds us to people. We cannot take that away. That's our joy, right? So it's about incorporating those things in your weight loss strategy. And this book is about how really to gently and easily shift your taste in foods away from salt and sugar. Yes, that will be better, but to make, like I said, everything a matter of preference, your honest preference. Slow and steady wins this race, and never ever taking away from you the things that really are relieving for you and bring you joy in terms of food. So that's my book, The Way In.
Hold that book up and go like this. Turn it this way. Look at that, you guys. That's not a pamphlet. That's not something she sat down and came up with in a weekend. Look at that.
And this is years and years and years of working with people and finding out, look, we got to fit how you actually live. And then from that, I developed the And Life app. And my app is just a way to get I rely on short workouts, things that actually fit in your day, so that, if you can get something longer in, fine, but we keep that bar pretty low. And not everything needs to be a big sweaty mess deal. It can be 5 minutes at your desk. We have all sorts of workouts. We need to stop thinking about fitness being this separate thing aside from our workday or our family time. It can be incorporated, and that's how we approach it. So it's really pretty cool. And the mental well-being tied into it. And again, with my Shape Up Body Mind program, the idea is that, I give you all of these tools, but we customize the program for you, for your life, for your concerns, for what's going on for you, so that you level up in a way that's incremental, and that it snowballs, and that it's easy and comfortable, so that you will develop habits that last. Because what's the point of losing weight if you're just going to put it right back on?
We're going to put it right back on. It's torture. I want to just say real quick before we get out of here.
Right.
Andrea is telling you it's absolutely the truth. There is a couple, an Asian couple at my morning gym. He runs 5 to 8 miles a day on the treadmill. He's there for, a couple hours. His wife walks the track, and you just see her doing things with her hands and stretching and doing what you said. And they both look like they stepped out of a magazine. And I look at it and he chose what works for him. She chose, but the key that is the same. What is congruent? And I've asked them both and they said, just keep moving. Keep moving. So if you aren't moving, get moving today and every day. There's a reason it's called Quality of Life. Make sure you have some. Andrea, where can they go to get the book?
You could go to Amazon. You could go to andlife.com, my website, either place, and see who has the better deal going on.
Okay. There you go. And there's videos, lots of content. Go to her YouTube
so much
channel.
Everywhere.
We are going to drop not only these 2 links, but a couple others into the private chat and in the show notes at the conclusion here in a moment. Make sure you get over and listen. Decisions drive choices. So decide what you need in your life, not what you want. What we want is a wish list, but as soon as we make it a need, it comes with a plan. So thank you so much, Andrea. Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you for all you do. Yeah, the whole kit and caboodle. And thank you so much for all you do to help us find our way to a better quality of life. Thank you. Listen, you guys, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Meet me out front, God willing, at 8 a.m. Central, and we'll do it all over again. Another illuminated conversation. You guessed it, right here on Bathrobe Moments. Get out and be the best. I love you. Thank you so much. Bye, all.
Bye.
Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Sign. Shamelessly displaying my state of mind.